Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Magical Families Challenge. I am broadcasting to you again from the billiard room in our campground. You may be hearing some background noises and voices because this is the activity center. This is where people come to socialize, but our show goes on. Our challenge goes on today. We're on day 3 and we're moving on to teach your child homekeeping, the gentle communication way. So I'm going to talk about today how to use only tools of nonviolent communication to empower our children to contribute their share of the homekeeping. So let me tell you why I think this is critical. I've been a self-taught student of Marshall Rosenberg, the father of nonviolent communication. I read all his books and I watched all his videos for years now, and I've been implementing this in my own home. It has made a huge difference. Huge. The main concepts that I learned and implemented in my own home laboratory is you cannot make your kids do what you want. Let me repeat this. You can't make your kids do what you want. In fact, you can't really make them do anything. You can't make them put a toy in a box. You cannot make them make their bed, and you cannot make them eat. Now, this is a very humbling lesson for us to learn about our powerlessness as parents, isn't it? Because somehow we've gotten it into our minds that it's our job to make a child behave. But in reality, you can't make a child do anything. All you can do is make them wish that they had done it. So Marshall taught me that whenever he was foolish enough to do that, that is, to make them wish that they had done what he wanted, they taught him a second lesson about parenting and power that has proven valuable through the years. The lesson was that anytime he would make them wish that they had done what he wanted, they would make Marshall wish that he hadn't made them wish that they had. So violence begets violence. So any use of coercion on my part will create resistance on their part, which could harm the connection between us. So with no connection, it's basically impossible to do any project together, not just the homekeeping project. Now, the concept of punishment is strongly advocated by most parents, I think. In fact, I think 80% of the American parents firmly believe in punishment of children. But when you ask yourself what reason you would like for your child to have in order to do what you want, it becomes clear that punishment is ineffective, and frankly, it really never works. So parents think that the opposite of punishment is permissiveness, which means that we do nothing when kids behave in ways that are not in harmony with our values. But there's a sweet zone between punishment and permissiveness that allows for a cultivating of a special kind of connection. Let's talk about it. By the way, according to Marshall Rosenberg, rewards are also a coercive tactic. So it's just as coercive as punishment. So in both cases, we are using power over people, controlling the environment in a way that tries to force people to behave in ways that we like. So if punishment and reward and permissiveness are a no-go, what to do? We try to create a matrix of mutual concern, mutual respect with our child, where both parties, me and my child, feel that their needs matter. And we both understand and are conscious that our needs and the other person's well-being are interdependent. All right? So that's how conflicts that otherwise seem irresolvable are easily resolved. We shift away from evaluating children as right or wrong, good or bad, to a language based on needs. We need to be able to tell our children whether what they're doing is in harmony with our needs or in conflict with our needs, but to do it in a way that doesn't stimulate shame or guilt on the child's part. So, in our homekeeping journey, it could sound like this. You could tell a child, I'm worried that the kitchen is so dirty because I have a need for people in this family to have safe eating conditions. Or it may require a shift from saying something like, you're lazy for not cleaning your room, to saying, I feel frustrated when I see that the bed isn't made because I have a real need for support in keeping order in the house. You notice that I'm speaking my needs, not blaming, I'm not guilting. So this shift in language away from classifying my child in terms of right or wrong, good or bad, to a language based on needs, it's not easy for those of us, most of us, who've been educated by teachers and parents to think in terms of these judgments. Okay? It requires an ability to be present for our children and listen to them with empathy when they're in distress. So this is not easy when we've been trained as parents to want to jump in and give advice or try to fix things. Okay? So as you make progress in this homekeeping journey with your kids, you're going to encounter sticky situations with your child. Try stopping, taking a deep breath, and think about how to get more in touch with your needs and how to get more in touch with the child's needs. No one likes it when demands are made of them. No one. Remind yourself of the difference between a request and a demand. So children perceive requests as demands if they think that they're going to be punished or blamed if they do not do the task. So when children have that feeling, it takes the joy out of anything. Think about it. Children have a need to do things because they chose to do them. Let me repeat that. Children have a need to do things because they chose to do them, and not to do them simply because they're forced to do them. All right? So consider making requests and not demands, and taking into account that the child may not be able to complete the task. So in our family, 9 out of 10 times, they choose to follow through on my request. They know that every once in a while, if they cannot complete the task, I will let them go. I'm going to find another solution. So this should be the general vibe of things. Okay, this is what it should sound like. Hey, I'd really like you to do this. It would meet my need. But if your needs are in conflict, I'd like to hear that. And let's figure out a way to get everyone's needs met. Okay, so make requests and specify the needs. You're going to be surprised how over time your kids are going to want to meet your needs just to make you happy and be helpful. It takes time, but it's worth the effort. Now that you've watched the video, go ahead and do the third challenge.